Hello again, everyone, and welcome to The Crusher. I'm your host, Josh Brewster, with, as always, my lovely and supremely talented co-host, Susan Olson. Susan, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
So I'm good. I said a while back that we were going to have a major announcement, and if you listen to the Adam Carolla show this week, you'll know that Adam brought Susan in, and they had a great appearance, very funny, and gave a nice plug to The Crusher. So we want to say thank you to Adam. Thank you very much. Adam, what a great guy. We love Adam.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, he's a great guy, just a great guy. So go to, as always, please go to @Crusher Podcast on X, and you will see Susan's appearance there and all of our good stuff. And the comments are starting to stack up, Susan. So,
Really? I need to go.
Yeah, go to YouTube.
So look, because everybody, I was in the last segment of like a 2-hour podcast. So everybody was talking about what happened before. But I find it interesting. I still managed to get pulled from YouTube. Even though
you're talented.
We did not talk about politics one bit.
Actually, Susan, I was referring to the comments for us, for this podcast. They're stacking up on YouTube, and a lot of people like it, and so we appreciate it. And also, don't forget, folks, the Spotify is available, and Rumble is available, and YouTube's available. And we're also getting some nice activity on SoundCloud and Apple if you just want to listen. So that's all good. And again, I'm going to plug again @Crusher Podcast on X. Go there, and you will see all of our never-ending stuff. So, Susan, I want, unless you had anything else, and again, thanks to Adam Carolla for having Susan on and being so welcoming in his studio. But Susan, unless you have anything else right away, I want to get to a very important public service announcement.
No, by all means.
All right. Well, this is my public service announcement, and I hope you get something out of it. PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, is a very serious condition that is suffered by combat veterans. And I find that too many civilians are using the term to explain instances in their everyday life. So we just want to let you know here from the Crusher Podcast that just because your boss yelled at you does not mean you have PTSD. And just because your dad didn't play ball with you, that does not mean that you have PTSD. And just because your wife fucked the mailman, that doesn't mean that you have PTSD. PTSD is for people who served in combat. Please stop using the term PTSD. Thank you. God bless you. And God bless the United States of America. Thank you so much. Thank you. So that is my public service announcement, Susan. And I just wanted to get that out there. Thank you. Thank you. It's important.
Well, don't you just think that it's an offshoot of a general overuse of superlatives? Like everybody's talking like a teenager. Where I hate that. That's the worst thing ever. He's
awesome.
Hitler.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. He's so amazing. It's like it's okay.
And everybody's got a condition, Susan, as you know. I mean, if you listen to RFK Jr., he points out that only 6% of people had chronic conditions. Now, 60% of the population did 60 years later. But everybody's got a condition.
That's true, though. I mean, a lot is true because we're creating these conditions.
Yeah.
But
no, it's true.
I even did a spoof on that in one of my little student films. Where it was like Real Housewives of whatever. And they're all talking about their conditions, and they're trying to outdo each other. So, no, you're just gluten intolerant, and
right.
I have PTSD because
with my
But
peanut allergy.
also people who have had a really bad accident or lost loved ones in an accident, they have it too. It's
They
not
may have it too, yeah.
just military. Yeah.
All right. I also have a theory I want to start off with today. I thought you would appreciate this. Sometimes I'm watching TV because I can't stand listening to any more political talk, if you can believe that. So I'll be flipping around. And of course, they've got all kinds of documentaries, things like I love Shatner's show, The Unexplained. And they brought up
I
post-death.
binge watched that.
Okay. I have
I'm
an
done with all
explanation.
of them.
I am going to solve this right now, Susan. And if you don't
Hmm.
agree with me, that's okay. I am going to solve the post death experience thing for everyone right now. And here it is. I believe that there are post death experiences. And I believe there are people who have come back from death who really have seen things. But here's what I think. I don't think that this is a construct of any kind of spiritual anything. What I think is this: the machinery at the hospital declares you dead because you're dead. But what happens is, I think neurologically, there's all kinds of electronic stuff that's going off, even though you're dead. And as you die, I wonder if the brain takes longer to die, you see. So even though the machinery says you're dead, I think there's things firing off in your head that is showing you things for longer than you might think, and that your brain is still firing after you are officially dead for maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes, half hour, maybe half a day. I don't know what the hell it is. But people who actually have been declared dead and come back and say that they see things, I don't look at it as some kind of a ghostly spiritual epiphany thing. What I see it as a construct of the physical world. My theory is that there are things firing off neurologically, showing you things. And if you come back, if you're lucky enough to come back from the machinery telling you you're dead, you may very well have seen things and had experiences in your mind because of neurology. That is my theory. What do you think of that?
Well, you and my sister should get together because that's what she says too. Um, but there's actually been scientific explanations for things like the light at the end of the tunnel. There's a neurological explanation. I like to believe there's something else afterwards, and I don't see any harm in believing that, because if there isn't, I won't know. Um, I like the hope and faith that people who have good experiences have when they come back, but there are some bad ones too.
Right.
Yeah, there are neurological explanations. I hate to say, because I want to believe, but
Well, I'm not even
there are
necessarily,
explanations. It's just
yeah,
what you said.
I'm not necessarily saying that there's no such thing as an afterlife or that there's no heaven or hell. I'm just saying that a lot of these experiences where people come back, maybe you're right. Maybe it is something otherworldly, but I think that in the vast majority of instances, I think it's neurologically charged. That's what I think.
Yeah, and there's evidence. Like I said, there are
Yeah.
proofs of specific things, like the tunnel and the light. That's neurologically explainable.
All right. Very good. You told me an interesting story recently, which I thought people would like to hear. You told me I think we're on the way to Corolla when you told me this, that back in the day when you were doing this mildly successful television show that some folks remember, that you actually, that Star Trek was being shot. The original Star Trek was being, which is also a mildly successful television show, was being shot next door or on the same lot.
Yeah.
And that if I understand you correctly, you actually had lunch with Leonard Nimoy. He
No,
was in costume. Is that right?
no, I would see him at the commissary.
You would see him
Yeah,
at the
and
commissary
the whole
with
cast.
the ears,
Yes,
and
with the
everybody's made up.
ears, with the whole shebang. They were all really nice. Of course, think about it. There's like 6 kids at Paramount, and people tended to be nice to us. But I was just over the moon because I could get Mr. Spock to smile. And so, Nimoy was a wonderful guy, and he'd smile and wave, and I just thought that was the greatest thing. And I think that that's where I began my attraction for emotionally unavailable men. But I kind of forgotten that until my son and I were on the Paramount lot, and I was remembering having seen him and seeing the cast, and I never saw him again, but I always had kind of a thing for Leonard Nimoy because he did that wonderful show In Search of,
Mhm.
which was all paranormal things, and he devoted one episode to Vincent van Gogh, who was my favorite artist at the time. Just a neat guy. I'm glad our paths crossed, but I thought, boy, I'm powerful. I can get Spock to smile.
Very good. Yeah, I think I told you also that years ago I actually got Johnny Ramone to laugh. So that was a big moment in my life. But now I want to get back to something you touched on. You said this sparked your lifelong interest in emotionally unavailable men. And you say this after, I believe, 2 marriages. Is that correct?
Yes,
I
yes.
see. So this was a tradition that you carried forth throughout your life. Is that what you're saying?
No, no, I would say it was just mostly with the first marriage.
I see.
I think I kind of got over it because probably my big love was very emotionally available,
Well,
but he
that's
was a
good.
drunk. So, of course,
But he was a
he's
drunk.
emoting all over the place. Yeah.
But the love of your life was a drunk.
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
see. Well, I'm living my life one day at a time, so I'm not going to judge. It's an easy thing. It's an easy thing to become. It's not hard. It's a great thing about alcoholism. It's the easiest thing. All you got to do, here's what you do. You take the bottle and you drink it. That's all you do. The
Yeah, well, he was also, he was
whole
an
world goes
extremely
by.
talented.
He was what? Very
He
talented?
was extremely talented. He was
Yeah.
an artist, and he was also extremely good looking. So he had a whole lot of stuff going for him. Just that one flaw,
He's
which
he's the
fatal
father
flaw.
of your son, or the first one is the
No, no,
father?
no. He's in between the first husband and the second. In
Oh,
fact,
okay.
I was inspired towards the second because I had a good friend of mine saying, Susan, it's about time you stopped dating artists and bass players and get serious. You're not getting any younger. And so I was kind of the mindset that I really can't trust my judgment. So I went for what I thought was the solid, reliable guy. And he proved to be anything but.
So
But we're friends, and
so
we co-parent.
so the love of your life you did not marry,
No, I
but you
did
married
not.
2 other guys. But the love of your life
Well,
you did
okay,
not
the
marry.
first one, he was the love of my life before the second. So I mean,
Gotcha.
I was hopelessly in love with him.
All right. Very very good. Well, listen, Susan, we love to talk about the world around us. I happen to notice, well, we should talk about this because there's a big story this week, and I saw a picture. I'm going to put it up on the podcast. I saw a picture of you on X, I think it was today, and was holding a squirrel. Is that correct?
Oh,
Is that a
yes,
squirrel?
yes, yeah.
Okay, it was a squirrel. All right. So there was the story this week of Peanut the squirrel and
Mm.
Fred the raccoon. Had you heard about this?
Oh, yeah.
And
Well, I posted it. Yeah.
and if I'm not okay, you fill me in if I'm wrong. But evidently, he's a man. He's in New York State who
Yes.
owned a raccoon and a squirrel. The state takes the squirrel and raccoon from him and euthanizes his pets. Is that correct?
Yes, under the guise that okay, like if I had an opossum right now, I'd be very happy. But I'd also be breaking the law. There are certain species that you're not allowed to have as pets. However, as a rescuer, I am certainly allowed to foster parent um, an opossum. And then you get into kind of a gray area. This guy wasn't even in a gray area. He had a sanctuary. Sanctuaries take in animals, they're allowed to do that. And when you're rehabilitating wildlife, as is often the case, because I'm involved with the sanctuary. We'll have bottle baby opossums, raccoons, squirrels, whatever, and the goal is to set them free, try to give them those life skills, which is a little hard for a human to do, but we do it. And let them go, let them lead their natural lives. But every now and then you'll get one that can't be rehabilitated, usually because they have some sort of a physical handicap. And what happens is then you have a wild animal in captivity, which most sanctuaries do not like. We're not trying to do that. But when that happens, then you make the best of it. And these people had made the best of it. This squirrel was very popular, very tame. He couldn't possibly have survived out in the wilderness. And he was very much loved by many people because he had these viral videos. And this is just an example of government overreach. Somebody complained, and the authorities came and confiscated them.
And if
And
the guy hadn't created these fun to watch videos, probably they never would have found out, right?
maybe, I don't know. I would say, I had animal control come to my house when I was foster parenting, and the guy was like, "Who do you know that wants to mess with you?"
Yeah.
Because we only come to these things if somebody calls. And I said, I know exactly who it is. And that's kind of a long story, is because my son was getting services through regional center. And a lot of times they want to make sure that the kid keeps getting services. So they make the case more serious. So anyway, and also the people coming over didn't like cats. Um, I was well within my rights, and in fact, the guy darn near gave me a tiara and a scepter because I was doing such a good job with my foster critters. Um, so yeah, I think the basis of the story is somebody didn't like them for whatever reason. But the fact that I don't like these laws in the first place, because if an animal is a pet and this is what they're used to, you are not doing the animal any favors by removing them if they're being well taken care of. And
You're also responsible for if you're also responsible for making sure the thing doesn't get out, and the thing wasn't getting out, right? And the guy
right,
had kept it under
right,
wraps, so
because don't I there's also things like Joe Exotic. And I do not approve of people making pets out of wild animals
yeah,
that
yeah,
are not happy as
yeah.
pets.
That could
It's a
otherwise live in
squirrel.
the
I
wild.
had
Yeah.
a squirrel when I was a little girl. We were going to let him free, but so I mean, this is a beloved pet, and this is just the government being authoritarian. And what scares me most about this, it's that overreach. But consider the parallels. We have a vice president candidate, Tim Pon, who approves of removing children from their parents if their parents don't agree to gender affirming mutilation. I
And
mean,
that's
this
where,
is that you don't have rights.
yeah,
Your house is not your house. Squatters have rights.
right.
Your pets are not your pets.
And in California, you're not allowed to inform the parents that the 12-year-old has decided that he needs to go on puberty blockers, and his 13-year-old sister has decided that she needs a double mastectomy because she's a guy, but she's 13. So yeah, so there is I can see why people are drawing these parallels,
Well,
because
I am. That's the first
I
thing
am.
I thought
Oh,
of.
you're not alone. You're not alone.
Yeah, it's
So,
just government. It's big government getting
well,
into your lives.
all
And
right.
hmm,
No, no, go ahead, please.
well, I was just going to get into the weeds here. There's another parallel that I draw with big government. Is all these women very upset about the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and then the lies that Trump would create an abortion ban. And that's a lie. He's
Yeah.
not going to do that. But it's good to remember you don't want the government involved in these things, because with a totalitarian government, abortion may become mandatory as it does.
The look, we've discussed many times, and I would direct. By the way, I would direct anybody go to the City Journal. I sent this out. I sent it to you. Check out this article, "The Plot to Manage Democracy."
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you read it. Read it when you get a chance. But go online. You can get it online on City Journal. But by Josh Siegel, I think his name is. Long story short, I've said before. I'll say again. Americans are really bad at recognizing authoritarianism. They're just really bad at it. They're really, really bad at it. And you know the old adage about people who will give up their freedom in the name of safety will
Mm.
soon find out that they have neither. You are neither safe nor free. We're going to get into the election in a minute, but I want to show you something. All right, I'm going to play a video, and hopefully you can see it because we're going to run a video here. I finally pulled my head out of my ass and figured out how to do a couple things. So I'm going to show a video since Americans don't understand authoritarianism. And it comes from, of all places, go figure, Iran. Okay. Now, speaking of things that people will ignore, and I guarantee you all the Western feminists, they'll ignore this too. Hopefully you can see this. If not, I'll cut it in later. I'm going to play this now. And hopefully it comes up. Do you see it? Do you see it?
Yes, I do.
See the woman in the underwear?
Yes.
Evidently, she was harassed by her university's morality police in Iran over her improper hijab. So she said, I don't care about the improper hijab. I'm going to protest this. So she stripped onto her underwear and she marched through campus, defying an Iranian regime that constantly controls women's bodies.
I can barely hear you, Josh.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me stop. Okay, here's what we use. Okay, you see the woman, right?
Yes.
Okay. She was harassed by her university's morality police in Iran over her improper hijab. So she didn't back down. She became very American. She turned her body into a protest, stripping to her underwear and marching through campus, defying the Ayatollah's regime that constantly controls women's bodies. It is a powerful reminder of Iranian women's fight for freedom, which, of course, too many Western feminists, they don't want to be called Islamophobic, Susan. Why would they stand up for this woman? Now, I'm going to give you an update that this woman, this happened at Tehran's Science and Research University, and she has since been arrested by the Iranian authorities, and people believe that she has been disappeared.
Oh.
We'll see whether she has become the Iranian Peanut the squirrel.
Yeah, good point.
And
Although
we'll
I would think that the purpose is to publicly disappear people as a warning.
Yeah.
And some people that are as old as we are can remember the college students protesting, and they trusted the Islamists. And
of course they did.
Look what they got. Over 40 years.
45 years.
Tyrannical religious law.
Yeah, so we're going to find out real soon what happened to this woman, or maybe we won't, but she's evidently disappeared. God forbid a woman stands up in Iran to the madness that is the Ayatollahs, who I'll remind you yet again are the people who are tossing missiles into Israel and God knows what else they're doing, from Lebanon and from the Houthis, and they're behind Hamas. And which, by the way, I want to give you an update. I don't know if you know this. Hamas actually began in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Muslim Brotherhood had established a headquarters in Herndon, Virginia. It's still there, evidently. But Hamas started here. So it's another thing for Americans to be proud of. Another thing we want to say that we are proud of, it's a public service announcement from Susan and myself, if I can speak on behalf of Susan. But we are both extremely proud to have been called garbage by the sitting president of the United States, calling half the population garbage. What a wonderful man. And I have never heard an American president call people garbage, but that's the way it is in this country now. And so, Susan, you are garbage, as am I.
I'm fine. I am
I'm good with it.
Fine with that. I'm proud of it. And to try to walk it back and say, oh, he never said that. I'm
Of course he
sorry.
did.
I posted footage from his whatever speech it was where he had that red backdrop and he looked so much like Hitler and began to tell us all that the most dangerous people, most dangerous force against this country are white MAGA men. So his own American citizens are the most dangerous threat, not the ones that he's letting over the border, not the
No,
Venezuelan gangs,
no, no,
not the terrorists.
no, no, no,
No, not the
no.
Chinese who, have their
No,
military
Susan, let me
vets.
correct you. It's the parents who go to school board meetings.
Oh God,
They're
that's
the
right. Yeah.
deplorable white supremacists because you see,
Yeah.
you know a white supremacist, Susan, because what it is they don't want to see their children given puberty blockers or having their daughters be given double mastectomies. So that makes them white supremacists. That's where we're living now. I just
Well,
want to
and
explain that.
some of them go so far as to not want their daughters to have a man in the locker room.
Oh, really?
Unheard of. I mean,
Really?
come on. How else are they going to learn about sex?
I thought, yeah, really. I thought that was where you're supposed to wave your penis is in the women's
Of
locker room. That's what they told
course.
us in elementary school. They said if you want to wave your penis around, you go to the women's locker room. I don't
Well,
know which
that's
school
where
you
you're
went
going
to.
to get attention. Yeah, I mean, it only makes sense. And gosh, I was so deprived because nobody ever did that during my teenagerhood.
Look, just another great example of. I was just thinking this today as I was taking out the trash. I was just thinking, if the 1992 Bill Clinton was running right now, I wouldn't be nearly as freaked out. I just wouldn't. He wasn't this much of a wackadoodle, and I can go back to JFK even, just not as much of a wackadoodle. And so this is what you're voting for. So let's get into this, Susan, because I know that you wanted to talk about maybe a final warning to those
Hmm.
who haven't voted yet.
Yeah. And by the way, I never had any problem with voting for a Democrat.
No, me either. I
Never.
voted for a million of them.
I was not. I was not specific to a party.
No,
So,
I
yeah,
agree with
and
you.
I cried tears of joy when Obama won, because I would have voted for him had I gotten to the polls on time. So it's not like I'm just this staunch. I'm not even a Republican.
So listen. It's November 3rd. Election day is November 5th, Tuesday, which will of course be followed in our new world by election season or election month or whatever endless legal challenges. And
However long it takes them to cheat.
oh, that's what I meant to say.
Hmm.
Yeah, but a final warning, Susan. Do you have a final warning for anyone who hasn't voted yet?
Yes, yes. You have been lied to. If the only reason why anybody, except for the really really stupid, the only reason anybody is enthusiastic about Kamala is because she's not Trump. That's like the only thing she has going for her. Yes, she can speak in platitudes, but most people with an IQ above 50 know that they're empty. Those are empty platitudes. Everything goes back to, but Trump, orange man bad. Let me also tell you, not only is she lying, but the media has lied for 10 years. And it gets worse and worse and worse to the point where there should be regulations on the media. I'm starting to sound like a lefty saying misinformation maybe needs to be controlled. I don't believe that. I believe in freedom of the press. But the fact that a campaign can lie so overtly and the media allows them to get away with it and does the lying for them is despicable. But I promise you, folks, if you are voting for Kamala because she's not a dictator and Trump is, you are wrong about Trump. Trump is not a dictator. Trump is not an authoritarian, but the people behind Kamala are. And if she gets in, I promise you will not be happy. And all you have to do is look at what's already going on. Leaving the borders open is not a recipe for success. Trying to censor social media, not good. Trying to take children away from their parents if they don't agree to the latest fad that Big Pharma wants to push. this is all authoritarian stuff, and you'll only get more of it. So you may hate Trump, but at least he'll give us a bit of a reprieve. He won't continue to destroy the country.
Susan Olson, thank you as always. I couldn't have said it better myself. At Crusher Podcast on X. Go to our YouTube channel, Rumble channel, Spotify channel. Once again, thank you to Adam Carolla. Follow us, share with your friends. We deeply appreciate it. And Susan, have a great day. And the next time we speak, I imagine the Antifa riots will be in full swing. And we can talk about that and the endless legal challenges to whatever the hell's coming down the pipeline on Tuesday. And we just hope for the best.
Yeah. And we've got to support our insane friends and family members who actually do fear Trump. I mean, they really do. Set them down, go, no. You know what? It's peace and prosperity. There's no need to fear that.
Indeed. All right. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.